Hello, welcome back to the James Ramblin Reviews for yet another video. Today is all about the Drama 2026 movie, which I've done a quick reaction of, and I have quickly done this thing where last night I just decided to put all of my YouTube shorts, quick movie reactions, as soon as I've seen a film, give you the quick raw thoughts, and then I use that as a reference point of what I'm going to talk about in the review, the full review right after that, maybe the day after that, whatever. So I've linked all of that down below. But before we get into how I felt about the movie and I get more in depth about the film without trying to spoil too much, I am trying out this new thing where when it's during the week and it's during the afternoon, I'm going to just try and put my blinds up a little bit more, just to let a bit more light into my room, to see if that just makes it more exciting to watch visually speaking, because sometimes when you see it, it's just dark with lights on. Sometimes it does get repetitive on my channel and it does feel a bit strange, like I'm just closing my blinds when it's during the day, that it's light outside, there's the sun, there's all of that. So probably better that I try that out to see if when you watch the video it's appealing to see me move my hands about and talk about the movies and stuff like that. So I'm trying that out, but let's get into how I felt about this movie, and I'll tell you quickly what it is about. So what you've got here is you've got Zendaya and you've also got Robert Pattinson, but what the whole movie's trying to do is they're on this journey together where it's like this, it's kind of, you could say in a way it's a rom-com-ish here and there, but what it's all about is Robert Pattinson is trying to figure out what he's trying to do and trying to figure out stuff about Zendaya and how all of this is going to turn out in a certain way and stuff like that. So that's the best way I can describe it. It's kind of like a love journey. You've got the highs and you've got the lows of both of the characters, and so there's definitely all of that. It's on for about an hour and 40ish minutes, and I'll say this right now, it is a decent movie. It is a really interesting film to watch because it starts off with this kind of idea where Robert Pattinson, he's a bit awkward and he's a bit, I don't know what's going to happen here, what's going on with myself and things, and then he just, as the movie progresses here, right, the film just manages to bring Robert Pattinson into this place in his places and moments in the film where he just shines as an actor. He shows that he can be a bit quirky, a bit awkward, a bit of an introvert. I was like, I don't want to talk to people. But then as soon as he meets Zendaya, he's building something with her, building a connection, creating something's going on. There's a way for him to really express himself properly, and that's what I like about the film. It really does that with Robert Pattinson's character. It showcases how it's not just about the love angle and all of that, it's about Robert Pattinson, what he's going through. And then Zendaya as well, when she comes into the mix of it, she gets up in the mix and everything starts to go, and the pot starts to stir, things are starting to happen. Zendaya's background, you kind of start to slowly unravel that, is what the director was trying to do with the movie. She's actually going through this traumatic time. Robert Pattinson's trying to kind of help that out and try to do his own way of doing it, and then Robert Pattinson also does figure out things about Zendaya, but I'll leave it at the door with that sort of thing, because you've got to watch the film to find all of it out. It's only just came out recently on video on demand as well, so I don't want to spoil all of that too much. So there is that, but I will say that Zendaya is actually really, really good in the film too. Her acting is decent, and see a lot of this movie as well. I was thinking to myself, I did mention earlier on, it's technically a rom-com with everything that's going on, but there is a lot of elements throughout this film where you can just tell that this is a dark comedy as well, where they tell these jokes and they just have these moments where it's a bit depressing, it's a bit sad, but then they find a way to complement that with jokes, and the balance of the jokes and the humour work in the film as well, because you do get the chance to invest in the storyline, but then you get chances to see Robert Pattinson and Zendaya smile together. So there's a lot of that stuff where the themes of the film, the tone of the movie, there's a direct structure to the film where one part of the movie, it has the comedy, it has all of that, and then one other part of the film is the the drama, no pun intended, has the drama, has the sadness, and all of that kind of mixes in together in a really nice, well-made soup where you just have this whole thing where this recipe just goes well with the film and really just turns out to be one of the most interesting films of this year. And I have to be honest that the last Robert Pattinson movie I watched was Mickey 17 at the cinemas, and obviously that was a different whole thing altogether, but it just kind of reminded me of that when Mickey 17 and Robert Pattinson, he was a bit strange in that film. He was a bit eccentric, he was kind of a bit awkward at times, and then he kind of builds on that in this movie. But this movie is obviously way better than Mickey 17. I just felt like with that movie, Robert Pattinson was the only really interesting thing about it. But here, though, he just really builds upon himself. And overall, I could gush all day about Robert Pattinson as an actor, because he went from the Twilight, I don't know why I said the Twilight. I meant the Twilight era, where he just done the Twilight movies, the vampire flicks, and then he turned himself around and he's been doing all these random films, and he's just absolutely, slaying through the competition, doing what he does best, and he just doesn't care when it comes to these things. He just gets the job done in these movies. He just wants to be an actor. He doesn't want to put himself he doesn't want to pigeonhole himself where he's doing the same things over and over again, and it really does showcase this in this movie, that this is a performance that stands out. And so see, overall, if I was to say about this movie how I feel about the film, I'm going to give this movie, I've had a minute to sit on it, by the way, since last night. I think I'll give this movie a 9 out of 10. It's really creative with the way the film showcases things, the way it's shot, the way the characters act, and then they show off, they explain well as to what the storyline's all about. So it really is a really good film. It's not perfect, obviously, but it really is that type of film where it is a decent watch and you get a lot out of it, really. And there will be other films this year where I'll go and I'll say that's one of the better films of the year. Obviously there's always going to be that, but it's not a perfect movie just because it is. You can tell there are certain elements throughout the film where once you watch the film again, it's just not having the same feel in it. I think if I watched this movie again, I wouldn't really have the same impactful experience I had the first time around. And you get that with movies sometimes. Like if you watch a film, you get the point of it, you get the silver lining when all of it comes to fruition. Everything makes sense, and then if you try to repeat that again, it's hard to really get invested in that again. It depends. It really does depend. If it's a movie that you really like and you've seen 5 times, then that's different. But if it's a movie like this where you've only just seen it the first time around, and you see a film too soon and then you kind of just throw away with it. And well, what I mean by that is you see the film once, and if you try to watch it again, and you kind of when you try and watch the film again, right, all of the stuff that you liked could be thrown out of the window because you're just like, oh no, I've already known the twists and the turns and the reveals. I think I'm not going to like the movie anymore. And so that overall, that's my point, is it's one of those films where it's a really good film, really good acting, but see as soon as you try to watch the film again, that's the point I'm making. If you try to watch a film like this again, it can be that case where it's not a masterpiece, it's not perfect, because you know the reveals and twists and stuff. So I'm trying to be more descriptive in my reviews instead of saying, vague things without spoiling. So I've just described a lot about how I felt about the film without trying to spoil the whole, the reveals and all like that. And I definitely think I'm going to be doing this more often, where I kind of showcase my lighting a bit better instead of having the dark room with the lights on. I'll do that if it's during the night or something, but during the day I'm going to be doing this more often. I actually have enjoyed doing this actually. So I'll see you after for another review on the James Ramblin Reviews. This might be on the longer side of things, but this is what happens when I'm just trying to get better at my reviews in general, trying to expand upon making a point, discussing a aspect of a film and stuff like that. So I'll see you for another review on the James Ramblin Reviews. I will just upload whenever I have a chance to, so see you after for more reviews on this channel. Bye.